Hey, how you doing? Very glad to be here. It's great to be alive. And with the feelings and the gratitude of being alive, there's also another plane after this life. We can be grateful for that. Um, I'm doing a special January lesson about why God made women so incredibly beautiful, complex, cheerful, fun, and sexy women. That's not children. We first have to understand the difference between an infant, a toddler, a child, and a youngster. They are not supposed to be the term that is enunciated as sexy because there's a formative stage that must complete its cycle before the more complex spiritual side of human beings manifests. Individuals that treat youngsters and children like they are adults are sick in the head. I can give a lot of details about all things that's wrong for that, but to just sum it up, they have a sickness, a disease of the mind, and their choices that they make is twisted and evil. Evil has a threshold. I want to talk about mature women and how incredibly beautiful that they are on a spiritual end and even on an esoteric level. Once we stray away from understanding the difference between three different human beings, we become lost and vulnerable to receive twisted information that is designed to bring down humanity and society. The three categories of human beings that will be discussed today is boys and men, girls and women. Now, boys, men, girls, and women are either male or female. Pretty obvious. But every man has matured to elevate and evolutionize from being a boy. Every woman, biologically, mentally, and emotionally, has graduated from being a girl to being a woman. Every female is not a woman. Every male is not a man. This is just something to think about. This is not throwing shade. It's not a criticism. It's just something that we take for granted. It's so obvious. We don't talk about it. And normally, if we don't talk about something, we don't think about it. You have controllers that do not want you to think. that do not want collectively groups of people to think, because they're retarded. Let me paraphrase a description of retardation. It's not, in this context, what comes to mind when we say retarded. Okay? A process of a machine can be hindered, and its process has been retarded, slowed down. The process of growing has been slowed down. Doesn't mean it stopped growing, it's just been slowed down. Okay? So, individuals who may be clever, who may be successful, who may be wealthy, who may have power, don't necessarily have wisdom, don't necessarily have an understanding of what life should be, and they may not have any moral compass. All right? It's possible to not even have a moral compass. And many people that don't have a moral compass don't really want a moral compass. They want to believe and want others to believe that they didn't choose to be immoral, indecent, perverted, abusive, mean, irresponsible. So, every male is not a man. Every female is not a woman. Not a criticism, it's just a statement of progressive fact. If I have an egg, inside the egg, there's an embryo, whether it's fertile or not. If I have a chick, on the other hand, this has developed into an egg-making machine, if it's a hen. So, it's no insult to say an egg's not really a chick or a chicken. An egg can be, some eggs can be, some will be. Well, the same with males and females. Not all females have become women. Not all males have become men. Remember that. If you don't remember it, you could fall prey to individuals who haven't become a true man or a true woman, but are able to act like it. Because these are traits that, for the most part, aren't external. Meaning, you just can't look at somebody for a couple of seconds normally and know that they are a woman or they are a mature man. So I want to talk about how incredible God made women. I write about it, mostly just for myself. I write poetry. I was fascinated with the Song of Solomon. In Sunday school, I'm confessing, it was another book. It was kind of nice. But as I matured and began to study many things and observe the world around me, I was able to distinguish the difference between something that was nice and something that was absolutely beautiful in nature. And most of the things that I've seen in nature are beautiful. A woman is extremely beautiful, very special, very unique. A delicate balance of beauty and complexity. And they all have a reservoir of being a nurturer. It's very sad if they haven't had enough good experiences where that reservoir of kindness and beauty and laughter and joy is able to manifest. but it's still there. So just because you don't see a plant, if there's a seed, the potential for it to become a beautiful flower or a tree or ear corn is there. And that's what women are. They become vessels, not creators, but they become vessels for life. Now, I'm going to get into some disparities and some confusion. Please don't take offense if this is you. This is my opinion. This is from my theories. Okay? Just because an individual or animal or insect is able to be a vessel for life doesn't make them a creator. Now, we use the term create interchangeably, and creating is synonymous with something that you make. But the true definitions and the differences between making something and creating something is different. Okay? So we shouldn't get that confused. I love women, but I also love birds. I love dogs. I love peacocks. I'm fascinated by zebras. So I could say that I love animals. But I do not love anything or anybody more than God. That puts a cap on my fascination, on my appreciation, on my love. Just knowing the priority. Don't love anything or anybody more than God. Okay? So, we are dumbed down in this society because too many of the wealthy are addicted to wealth and power. That means, in this context, they love wealth and power more than God. So they don't have a cap. And one thing about any addiction, the more you use, the more you want. The more you use, the more you need. When you are never going to get that first high back. Same with money, same with power. When you become addicted, you are in a form loving the addiction more than God. That's why, statistically, if you do your research, even though it's hidden, particular programs to help people who are addictive have a much higher success rate that recognize that there's a higher power. That's a simple thing to actually recognize. You know, dogma can get in the way and philosophies can confuse the thing, but many things that are the deepest thing is basically simple. There's a higher power. Wherever there is a creation, there is a creator, whether you understand the creator or not. This is simple. It's like somebody saying, oh, I'm pondering. If nobody's in the forest and a tree falls, is there sound? You can argue this. You can get scientific about frequencies and perceptions being connected. Meaning that if there is no receiver to interpret sound, possibly sound does not exist. That's something that can be argued. All right? You can take anything, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is really just but a dream. See, you can argue all these exoteric things and miss out the simplicity. If sound is a sound wave made of sound particles, they can exist without a human being there. Television waves and radio waves are in the air regardless if you have a TV or radio or not. Okay? That's existence. So think about this. If there is a higher power, which there is, but we'll say if, for the sake of those who have difficulty grasping the concept that there's actually something more intelligent than human beings in the universe, we'll say if. If there is a designer, everything in this realm, within this dimension, has boundaries and rules, laws. It's like the law of gravity, the law of karma. There's certain laws, which means that there's a order that obeys a order. When people in power start to feel like they are God, or the creator, or there's nothing more intelligent than they are, a certain arrogance is produced. So I'm saying emphatically, because I know what I'm talking about, women are beautiful. You have human free will. So a beautiful woman can choose to be evil, can choose to be selfish, can choose to sell her child if she has one. Okay? That's not beautiful. Free will can override nature. Okay? And there's a lot of powers that be that don't want you to understand that, because then it might interfere with whatever agenda they might want to place on you. When somebody has an agenda, they have a purpose, which is normally synonymous with a purpose that they are not being forthright about. So when you are approached by somebody, it's okay, it's not judgmental to ask yourself, what is this person's agenda? If they have an agenda. Not everybody has an agenda, I'm glad to say. But you don't know, because there's no sign tattooed on them saying, I have an agenda. Unless, you're kind of strange and you decide to tattoo on your chest, I have an agenda. Somebody hearing this might do it just because they heard me say it. All right. That's exactly the reason why you should not love anything or anybody more than a creator. So I want two things to happen. I want both males and men to appreciate and respect women, because they are an incredible design. They are beautiful. And I want beautiful women. You're all beautiful. I'm talking about what's inside. to understand not every male is a man. Just like a boy isn't a man. Okay? It doesn't have to be a criticism. It can be a criticism, but it doesn't have to be. Just understand that whoever you're talking to, they might not be what they appear. But facts are facts. And I'm talking about the beauty of women. God made women beautiful for so many different ways. And I'm looking forward to having a whole show about that, where I'm using my dry erase board and I've got my visual aids. All right. Respect, decency, being polite, having chivalry if you're a man, having understanding if you're a woman. We can miss out and take for granted of some of the incredible flowers. And I call everything that I deem beautiful, I call it a flower. Flower just sums it up, you know. So, thank you very much for listening to the end, if you listen to the end. And I look forward to seeing you next time. So, this is DJ Slam signing off. I will see you next time.